Hi guys, and welcome to the Rundown podcast with me, Sandra.ve.okidi. I am now on YouTube, so please make sure you comment, like and subscribe to my channel. And if you just like the sound of my voice, please make sure you go over to the audio streaming platforms where you can subscribe there too. So today we're going to be talking about the latest social media app there is. It's the closest thing we have to nightlife. Yes, it's ClubHouse. And I know for some of you Android users, you're hating from outside the club because you can't get in. So I've heard from some people say ClubHouse is toxic, it's a toxic place, I'm getting off. That's what we're going to have a little rundown on today. Is ClubHouse toxic? So let's start with how I got onto ClubHouse. I was introduced to ClubHouse by my friend, cousin, in December, and she was like to me, do you know what, this is a new networking app, it should be great for your podcast, be able to network with different people, you should definitely get it, you can speak on different subjects, X, Y, Z. And I was like, really at first I was thinking, I can't be asked for another social media app. Like, you know, I've grown my followers on Instagram and, you know, I'm probably there and I don't need to gain another one, was pretty much my mindset. But she sent me the link to be invited, because you have to be invited. And I downloaded it and I just had it there and I didn't really use it from December. Now, the app was actually launched in April 2020 during the lockdown, and it was valued at $100 million in May 2020. And it's more or less for like podcast style conversations, panel discussions, and networking opportunities that one might have. I would say that it's starting to get a bit more popular during this December-January period. I kept seeing people on Twitter, you know, CH, and I'm like, what the hell is CH? And people discussing all kinds of topics, and I'm like, where is this coming from? And then I realized that this is actually from ClubHouse, and then I got a little FOMO, fear of missing out, and I actually started to properly navigate the app. So as I'm actually, you know, navigating the app and seeing what it's about, for those who don't have it, Android users, it's basically your algorithm in the rooms that appear on your feed are based on who you follow and who's in your contacts as well. And depending on your field of work, your interests and your friends, that will be the rooms that are being hosted. And they talk on things such as identity, language, race, culture, well-being, astrology, whatever it is you want to talk about. So based on those rooms that I followed, or not the rooms that I followed, the people that I was following, I ended up in a room where they were discussing black men and black women. And the title of that room was something along the lines of why black men are more attracted to other race women. And as a black person, I was like, okay, let me waltz up in here and see what they're discussing or what they're talking about. And usually, to be very honest, I'm actually tired of this conversation that keeps on popping up. I'm so over it. We've had those debates on Twitter, we've had those debates on Instagram, we've had those debates in society itself, but yet this conversation still keeps coming up. It was too much. I felt like I went up on stage to talk. So again, in these rooms, you have a moderator who moderates the room. You can have one or you can have multiple moderators, and then there's a stage and there's an audience, and you can be brought up on stage, you raise your hand to speak, and then you can go up on stage and speak whilst everybody else listens. So the things that I was hearing from these conversations from people on stage about black men and black women, it was just bothering me, and I was like, all right, I need to say something, I want to say something, get off my chest. And it was more or less a back and forth between girls and guys, and there was a lot of ignorance, there was a lot of ignoring, there was a lot of not listening. Some people did listen, some people got it, some people didn't, and it was just quite actually frustrating. In the end, I left the room. You can leave quietly. I left the room and went into another room, and somebody had created a side room with just girls discussing what had happened in that room. I ended up in another controversial room, which was a massive trending topic on Twitter, and it happened to be about makeup artists. So the room was hashtag Talks with Ashley, and she was moderating this room, and it was basically people discuss your experience with negative experience with makeup artists. Now this room had about, when I checked in, about 6,000 people in that room, and I didn't get in that room because there was just so many people in that room, but I noticed as well that there was sub rooms, so there was like 3 other rooms of this same topic. So I wasn't really too much bothered because, again, that wasn't really for me. Basically, there was all kinds of stories in that room about how, MUAs had ruined somebody's wedding day, someone's birthday, or prom night, or how they got scammed, or how they went to someone's house, the MUA's house, and there was a dog sitting on the makeup brushes, all kinds of negative stories. But the real ish was because people felt as though this moderator was purposely tearing down black businesses, or they felt as though she was purposely feeding off the negativity as for entertainment. Her account eventually got suspended on ClubHouse. Tiffany Haddish, the comedian actor, her account also got suspended alongside Shaka Bars, who is a influencer on Instagram. He sells fruits and is overly woke. They got banned suspended on ClubHouse for bullying as well, and just spreading conspiracy theories as well. Was Tiffany Haddish being a bully? Yeah, she was being one. I wasn't in that room, but from what I know, here's the rundown. There was they were discussing COVID or something, and a young black female doctor basically was counter arguing what Tiffany and Chaka Bars were saying, that the vaccine, something about the vaccine is there so the government can track you from outer space, something like that. I could be wrong, and it already sounds wild. Now apparently they went so in, Tiffany and Chaka Bars went so ham on this girl, so in on this girl, that apparently she actually tried to commit suicide over the comments that were made towards her. Mental health issues, mental health concerns, with how people moderate the room and how people are with each other. So I do think that these ClubHouse guidelines and rules are good to help moderators, and I like how they didn't just say, we're going to remove you and ban you for life. It's more of, we're going to give you tools to help you be a better moderator type of thing, and I think that's a good thing. That's a better way of helping the situation and letting people learn from their mistakes. I mean, as a moderator, somebody who is in charge of the room, I mean, there is responsibility there for you to make sure that people speak when they need to speak and not overspeak over somebody else. And if somebody said something that was hateful or rude or disrespectful, you can just kick them out of the room or mute that person. So a moderator does have a responsibility to moderate the room and keep the room going. But was it that girl's fault for people talking about their negative experiences with MUAs? Personally, I don't think it's her fault. I think she could have done more as a moderator, perhaps. The other day I was in a room and someone had created a sub room of that room, and people were like, this room's so toxic, it's so triggering. They're talking about prison, and they don't have a lawyer present in that room, they don't have a psychologist present in that room, they don't have a United Nations officer in that room, they don't have a prime minister in that room. You know, that room should not be allowed to run. That moderator is so whack. Now, where did you get these stipulations from? ClubHouse already have their guidelines. And the thing is, they do encourage these topics. They do encourage us to have whatever conversation you want to have. Since when did you have to bring in all these people just to make sure the room is safe? At the end of the day, let's remember that you choose what room you want to go into. You choose who you follow. You choose everything. You can choose to leave a room. You can even leave the room quietly. So you don't even have to make a hoo-ha about it. You can just leave. If you find that you are constantly feeling like ClubHouse is toxic, then maybe you need to reevaluate who you are following, as that is based on your algorithm and your feed and what kind of rooms you will be presented with. You know, when I found that I didn't feel like it was toxic. I always kind of felt like, you know, people are toxic. It's people's energies. It's not the app. The app didn't create toxicity. People did. You know, it's the same thing on Instagram. It's the same thing on Twitter. It's the same thing on any social media app. People have an opinion and they think it's facts, or they think that it's the be all and end all, and will argue with you till death to prove that they are correct. I mean, do I have to sit here and listen to you? No. The last thing that ClubHouse has added is a moderator badge. Now this one, I don't know if I like it. I mean, it's a small thing. It's literally done so that it's easier to provide a speaker with feedback when you know who's in charge of the room. So if you've moderated some rooms, you'll get that badge. It's almost like the equivalent of like a verified tick, but for ClubHouse. It's like an influencer status, but for ClubHouse. Kind of boosts one's ego a little bit. Makes them feel a bit too big. I don't know. Maybe because I haven't moderated a room yet. Who knows how I'll behave once I get my badge, you know. I'm a moderator. Don't tell me nothing. I think it's a great place, ClubHouse, a great place to network. I was, you know, in a room with Kenya King the other day, MBE, the founder of the MOBO Awards. And, you know, that was an amazing room. It was a female empowerment room. And, you know, all these female bosses were talking about, you know, how they made it, what they do, giving out great advice. And, you know, she was a click away. You know, all I had to do was raise my hand, go on stage, and be able to have a conversation with these great women. It's what you choose to be surrounded with. You choose whether you want to be in a toxic room or not. And then sometimes people just actually enjoy the toxicity. That's on you. If you enjoy it, don't complain about it. So that's my review, my rundown on ClubHouse, the new and latest social media app. I definitely do encourage it. You make it what you want to make it. Do you know what I mean? So thank you for listening to the Rundown podcast with me, sandra.ve.okidi. Remember, you can subscribe to my channel on YouTube. Make sure you comment, like, and share. And if you just like the sound of my voice, I'm also available on audio streaming platforms as well. Thank you so much for listening, and stay tuned for the next episode.